Welcome back to Fast RC, everybody. My name is Ryan. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the 4 things that I love about the Traxxas Slash 2-wheel drive and why I think this is one of the best beginner vehicles for somebody just getting into the hobby. So let's go ahead and get to it. Alright, so first thing we're going to talk about is the looks. So Traxxas Slash body is one of the best looking short course bodies out there, in my opinion. Of course, there's plenty of other bodies you can buy from Proline and J Concepts and things like that, and other really cool bodies with lots of high flow vents in the rear and different models of trucks and all that. But Slash, in my opinion, is really just an iconic body. Obviously, it's based off a real truck, but just the number of liveries and different paint schemes that Traxxas has offered over the year, in my opinion, it's just one of the best looking trucks out there, along with their wheel and tire combinations that they add, especially on the VXL vehicles. You just can't beat it. And it's no doubt that when somebody is new to the hobby and you're looking at the Traxxas Slash and the different paint jobs and cool schemes that they got, no wonder people buy those trucks. They're just one of the best looking trucks out there. And next up is reliability. So I'm going to start this section with just telling you guys that over the last 10-12 years I've been into the hobby, I've owned multiple different brands of different short course trucks. I've had Traxxas, I've had ECX, which I'm not even sure is around anymore, but ECX was from Horizon Hobbies, or is now Horizon Hobbies. I've had Team Associated, I've had Losi, I've had Team Durango, which I definitely know is not around anymore. Also have had Kyoshos, I've had Technos, you name it, I probably had it. Even had an HPI from back in the day. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because the Traxxas Slash is one of my favorite vehicles when it comes to just out-of-the-box reliability. Like I said, owning all those trucks, I've seen all the different problems and all the different times, hinge pins and different things, parts have flown off of trucks. Traxxas, in my opinion, from a reliability standpoint, out of the box, is pretty good. If you're sticking with the stock electronics and you're not doing like 40 to 50 to 60 miles an hour with this truck right away, there's a good chance that this truck is going to last quite a long time and you'll probably break very few parts. I've covered a lot of the common parts that are issues on normal Slash, such as like the hinge pins, the shocks, things like that, and the servos. Obviously those are weak points that need to be upgraded over time, but just out of the box with an XL5 or even the BL2S setup doing like 25 to 30 miles an hour, these trucks are pretty darn reliable and they're going to last you quite a long time. Alright, since in the last section we talked about reliability, in this section we're going to talk about part availability. So like I mentioned in the last section, the truck is pretty reliable, especially if you keep it at moderate speeds, but if you do jack up the speed a little bit and you start breaking parts like A-arms and knuckles and things like that, or even a chassis in the worst case scenario, good chance you're going to need to buy parts for this truck. And one of the best things about the Traxxas Slash is almost unlimited part availability. Doesn't matter which hobby shop you go to around the country, they're most likely going to have parts for the Traxxas Slash, and probably a good portion of tracks that you go race at will probably have parts for the Slash as well. And in my opinion, it's one of the things that I love about the Slash, just overall part availability. It's maybe one of those things you don't think about at first, but when you start breaking parts and you're out in the field and you just need to get a new A-arm set or a new shock tower or whatever you need, that's when part availability comes into play, and it's really just nice to know that wherever you go, you're pretty much covered. One last thing on part availability we can cover in this section is also the upgrades. Tons and tons of upgrades and aftermarket parts for this truck. Whatever you want to change, if you want to make the entire truck aluminum, you probably could do that. If you want different bumpers or different bodies, different body mounts, different wheels and tires, the options are endless. So just one more feather in the cap for the Traxxas Slash 2-wheel drive. Alright, and number 4, last thing that I like, also kind of goes along with parts availability. So once you get those parts, how easy is it to work on this truck? In my opinion, it's extremely easy to work on the Traxxas Slash 2-wheel drive. And that's going to be the 4th thing that I talk about here. It's just overall ease of working on this truck, especially for a beginner coming into the hobby. It can be a little bit daunting looking at a truck, especially a very complex 4-wheel drive vehicle, and thinking, gosh, how am I going to rebuild this thing? But with the 2-wheel drive, it kind of takes half of the equation out, being that it's only 2-wheel drive, and it's very, very easy to work on. A lot of times if you're trying to work on your diff or suspension components, we're talking about maybe anywhere from 4 to 10 screws at the most. You could probably count them on your hands, the number of screws you'd have to take out to change a part. And that, being a new user or a new person to the hobby, can be comforting in a way, and definitely a reason why I'd recommend the Traxxas Slash as a beginner's truck. If you're just getting in, if you're not so mechanically inclined, this is a good place to start. there's not that many things to change out, and if you do break apart, it really isn't that difficult to change. All right, so just final thoughts on this truck and the things that I love about it. Just like I covered, you know, parts availability, reliability, ease of working on, and then overall scale looks and just the way this truck handles. I would highly recommend this truck to somebody that is new and getting into the hobby and just looking for the very first vehicle. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. Whether you go with the base model with the XL5 system or the BL2S model with the brushless system, or if you step it all the way up to the VLX model like what I have behind me, you're not going to go wrong. It's very easy to work on these trucks. It's easy to get parts. As far as like replacement parts, a lot of times they're not very expensive. You don't have to spend a lot of money to fix things. And then of course, if you want to upgrade this truck down the road and add new motor and ESC, different servos, different radio transmitter, all that stuff is very easy to do. And just an overall great platform to start with. And it gets you really a truck that you can go out, you can bash with, you can go race with it if you want. And really just do whatever you want. If you want to go send it off a ramp, you could do that too. You may break apart, you might not. But overall, highly, highly recommend this truck. So if you got a lot out of this video, I'd really appreciate it if you can like and subscribe. Do all that stuff for me. I'd appreciate it. If you're interested in more videos about Traxxas Slash two-wheel drive, I'm going to have a couple more videos popping up here on the screen. Go ahead and check them out. I got a build video that I just did, and then I'm also going to talk about things that I dislike about the Traxxas Slash. So if you're new and you're trying to figure out what's up with the Traxxas Slash two-wheel drive, go ahead and click on that video, and I'm going to tell you the few things that I don't like about the Slash two-wheel drive. Other than that, I'll see you on the next video.
Grip the wheel tight. I feel the power.